First tonight on News Street, why local police departments are being uninvited to the annual Madison Pride Parade. And a series of new murals unveiled tonight celebrating the spirit of Madison.
This is News 3 at 10.
Law enforcement officers won't be marching in the Pride Parade this weekend. The group organizing that event made the decision to keep them out after their members said they didn't feel safe with law enforcement there. New tonight, the Madison Police Department trying to fix the divide. Amy Reed sat in on a listening session tonight where police hope to gain some understanding from the other side. Amy?
Yeah, MPD Pride, the group of Madison's police department that focuses on LGBT issues, hosted this session. They invited the very people who brought concerns forward, hoping to talk with them and get an understanding of what they're feeling and how police can do better.
To documented individuals.
Members of the community gathered together on Monday to talk about the divide between police, people of color, and the members of the LGBT community.
I think it's important to listen and to hear and to really take in the concerns, and we haven't had that opportunity in years past.
The concerns came forward after news that police would not be marching in the Pride Parade this weekend. The group Outreach, who puts on the event, pulled their permits to march. They heard from some of the members of the community that they did not feel safe with armed policemen there. After a year of trying to figure out a solution for both sides, they decided what was best for their members was to keep police out.
We felt like we really needed to listen to the concerns of these people because they're the people that we serve. We don't want to be just serving a small portion of the community or, like.
Sorry, it looks like we had some video issue there, but police said they don't want people to start boycotting the parade because of this. They said they're disappointed they won't be marching in uniform, but they respect and understand Outreach's side.
Amy Reed reporting tonight in our news center. Amy, thank you. A Milwaukee man is dead following an officer-involved shooting this evening. The police chief says around 5 o'clock, officers pulled over a suspect that ran from them earlier in the day. They say he got out of the car with a gun, and that's when police shot him. That man's name has not been released, but the chief says he was wanted for domestic violence and probation violation. No officers were hurt. The town of Madison Police Department mourns the loss of one of their own tonight. Sergeant Jessica Fisher took her own life on Friday. The 43-year-old mother had been with the department for 13 years. Her patrol car sits outside the department there. Community members have been leaving flowers on the windshield all weekend. Although it is difficult, Chief Scott Gregory says it is important to talk about suicide and depression among law enforcement. He's now thinking of other ways that his officers can look out for each other.
Is there some way where a spouse can contact somebody in the department to be able to let them know something's going on at home and she's being more, he or she is being more moody, and can you talk with them, see what's going on? And
more law enforcement officers die by suicide than on-duty deaths. The organization Humanizing the Badge says the suicide rate among officers is as much as 50% greater than that of the general population. 18 people out of their homes tonight following a fire on Madison's west side. The fire spread to 3 units. This was at Greystone Condominiums on Cricket Lane this morning. Several other condos saw smoke and water damage. More than 3 dozen firefighters were on the scene. They rescued 2 dogs from the units there. It is unclear how much damage was done or what caused that fire. 6 states in the Northeast under flash flood alerts tonight. Emergency crews in Pennsylvania and New Jersey have had to rescue dozens of people trapped in their flooded cars and homes. Heavy rain turning small creeks and roads into raging rivers there. Forecasters say more rain is possible for that entire region through Friday. So with that, let's see what the weather's doing around here. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joining us now. He's in the Weather Center. Gary?
Eric, it's very quiet around here, and it has been warm and humid. We will see our chances for showers and thunderstorms increase from later tomorrow night into Wednesday. Weather track, things very quiet across the upper Midwest. Some showers and thunderstorms up in North Dakota into far northwestern Minnesota, and then some showers and storms farther to the southwest, starting to spread some clouds into the southwestern portion of Iowa. But you can see just how far away that moisture is. Eventually, it'll catch up with that cold front front to the north and west, and perhaps give us some showers and thunderstorms later tomorrow night, or more likely on Wednesday. Around here, things very quiet. This morning, temperatures started out in the upper 60s or upper 50s to the lower 60s. Madison bottomed out at 63 degrees for the overnight low temperature. High temperature here in Madison, 87 degrees, but it was 90 in Boscobel, 92 in La Crosse, and 92 in Black River Falls. Current temperatures are in the middle 60s to the lower 70s, and dew point temperatures remain in the upper 60s to the lower 70s as well, so it is becoming a little more humid with time. Look for temperatures to gradually fall into the middle 60s by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow will be a partly sunny, very warm and humid day with a high of 87. Heat index from 89 to 94. There's a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm. That's your first alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. Police say a Utah man crashed a small plane into his own home just hours after being released from jail for domestic violence. Police say Dwayne Yaud intentionally piloted this plane into the house around 2:30 this morning. Yaud's wife and an 18-year-old were inside at the time, but managed to escape. He was released from jail just hours prior. Police say he was arrested for attacking his wife yesterday. Yaud was an experienced pilot who worked out of a nearby airport where it is believed he stole that private jet. And in Washington, still many unanswered questions about the airport worker who stole that plane and crashed it into an island this weekend. Richard Russell worked as a baggage and cargo handler at the Seattle-Tacoma airport. The people responsible for security at SeaTac got together today to talk about the breach in security. Last year, Congress passed a law mandating tougher screening standards for all airport employees. Ground workers in Seattle undergo criminal background checks, go through metal detectors, have their bags screened, their fingerprints scanned to verify identities, but there are no psychological screenings. The prosecution has rested its bank fraud and tax evasion case against former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort. Prosecutors finished presenting their evidence today after weeks of sometimes dramatic testimony from 24 witnesses. The government says Manafort hid at least $16 million in income from the IRS between 2010 and 2014 by hiding it in foreign banks. Defense lawyers will make their case next. President Trump signs a defense spending bill named for Arizona Senator, former prisoner of war John McCain. The bill provides $716 billion for the military. $22 billion goes for nuclear weapons programs, $69 billion for U.S. war efforts. It increases salaries by 2.5%. It authorizes a parade the president has been planning for the fall. Voters will head to the polls tomorrow in the primary elections in Wisconsin. Polls open at 7 a.m. And while there, remember, you'll have to pick one party to vote for. On your ballot, you'll pick Republican or Democrat or third party. There are races for governor, 8 Democratic candidates, 2 Republicans. Lieutenant governor, 2 Democratic candidates, 1 Republican. There are also statewide races for state treasurer, secretary of state, attorney general, and the United States Senate. And in that Republican Senate primary, you'll see 2 names, Leah Vukmir and Kevin Nicholson, both from the southeastern part of the state. They were going door to door today in that area for one final push, and they're hoping to take on Democratic challenger, Democratic Senator, U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin in November.
We need to send a proven, consistent conservative to Washington to join President Donald Trump, someone who's going to follow through on their promises.
My message that it's going to take an outsider to actually do something different in Washington, that's going to cut across a lot of different party bounds and everything else.
We've got more information on many of tomorrow's races and the candidates at channel3000.com. Madison is prepared for 60% of the city's registered voters to cast their ballots tomorrow. Compare that to voter turnout during the August election in 2016, which was just 22%. And even less than that back in 2014. If you're not registered to vote, you can do so at your polling place tomorrow. And under state law, your employer has to give you time off to vote at some point tomorrow, so don't let work prevent you from casting your ballots. Edgewood College has been given $7 million, one of the largest gifts in the school's 90-year history. It was awarded to the college over the weekend from a benefactor who wishes to remain anonymous. The estate gift will be applied to Edgewood College's endowment, which helps support ongoing operating expenses and designated purposes like scholarships, projects, or programs. New tonight at 10, a series of 5 Madison murals by 5 different artists being celebrated tonight. Mural Alley is on the back of the Madison East Shopping Center. The murals capture the community and spirit of the East Side. One of the artists says that they caught people's attention even before they were finished.
The farther along it got, the more people stopped to talk. And that really, above and beyond anything else, is the big deal, like making those connections and hearing these people's stories, like people I'd never met before, telling me their life stories about living on the East Side.
Madison teens also got involved by collaborating with the artists. This Friday, the final Bucky on Parade statue will be unveiled. The Crazy Legs Bucky is scheduled to be revealed at the UW Police Department, 11 a.m. It's been listed as coming later this summer. Since the project began, all 85 statues will be on display through September 12th. After the art event ends, most of those statues will be auctioned off. Still to come tonight at 10, smartphone addiction. It is actually now a diagnosable condition. When we come back, we'll hear what the next generation of app creators wants to see out of the next generation of apps. Stay with us. Welcome back. Kids today will never know a time without sharing rides or memes. They'll never remember the pound sign was a way to set up your voicemail, not to track what's trending. There are no videos to rewind these days. Texting has always been a ticketable offense. We know technology can be a great asset, but it can also be a burden on our kids. We're taking time to talk about the impact social media can have and how young users hope to shape those apps in the future. Here's Danica Lewis.
High schoolers today will never know the thrill of the wait.
I got a computer when for my 12th birthday.
Now, by the time Armani Benson was 12, there were no floppy disk drives or dial-ups.
I just never went on it. And until a little bit ago, I got it out of storage.
Dusting off that keyboard led the Sun Prairie sophomore to UW-Madison.
I'm very big into social media.
I have Snapchat, Instagram, and 20 games.
Malachi Murphy is also subjecting himself to summer school, with some screen breaks, of course.
I use the occasional Facebook just to see what people are talking about.
I'm definitely going to put something out there if I'm doing something cool or something interesting that people might want to hear about.
So could you think about some...
Lectures on malleable metals may not be post-worthy.
I'd rather it be a computer geek or something like that. Like Peter Parker.
For a self-proclaimed computer science superhero,
Something like that.
a world dominated by likes and shares is not so bad. But for parents, it's a different story.
Facebook has openly admitted that using the site can be harmful to your mental health. And research shows about 9 of every 10 users compare themselves to others on their news feed, which can impact self-esteem. Studies have linked a student's negative online interactions to feeling hopeless or worthless.
Other research shows that the majority of younger users feel inadequate or unattractive when going through pictures and posts.
It's where everyone vents online, so that's proven to be stressful.
What was once about staying connected is now connected to social isolation. Studies show people who are consistently on these platforms are 3 times more likely to suffer from anxiety and depression.
Doctors now recognize smartphone addiction as an actual diagnosable condition. Then there are factors like cyberbullying and the effects of screens on sleep.
Before you start cursing the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world,
I start from nothing and it turned into something big.
consider the future could be better.
You can just try different things, experiment, and that's kind of what I love about it.
Armani and Malachi have found their calling, being app creators.
I want to do something that's helpful.
Both teenagers have made their own games. They haven't made it into the App Store quite yet, but that's the goal, and they know this will be part of their futures.
Technology is technology. It has infinite space, unless you have a crap phone.
Even if there's no space on our smartphones, there's always room for smart ideas.
I'm honestly that guy that technology is going to take over the world one day and just,
Taking time to talk on air and online, Danica Lewis, WISC News 3.
Armani and Malachi want to build an app together, possibly with social media and video game components. The best advice from the 2 incoming sophomores is for kids to be as real as possible online, not to worry about what other people think. We'll have this story and advice from an SSM Health therapist about keeping our kids resilient with all of the messages they see online. Check out our Time for Kids Time to Talk page at channel3000.com for that and more mental health resources. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joining us now on what has been a toasty warm start to the work week, Gary.
Yeah, getting increasingly humid too with time, and we'll see that for tomorrow as well. Let's start out by taking a look at the time lapse from the WISC Skycam. This is looking toward the south and southwest. A little bit of early morning fog, but that gave way to just some fair weather cumulus clouds popping up, and then boom, they're gone just about the time we rolled around to sunset. On Doppler track, things very quiet across Wisconsin. Now, there is a cold front to our north and west here, touching off some showers and isolated thunderstorms. There's also a surge of moisture to our southwest down across Nebraska into Kansas. That moisture will head northeastward and probably interact with that cold front as it pushes across southern Wisconsin sometime during the day on Wednesday. So that's when our best chances of showers and thunderstorms will be. So not much in the way of rain chances for tomorrow, just an outside chance of a shower or thunderstorm. So our high temperature should still top out at 87. We're back down to 81 with shower and thunderstorm chances. Highest on Wednesday, just a slight chance on Thursday, and then temperatures remaining in the lower 80s all the way through the weekend and into the early part of next week. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. It's pretty quiet out there tonight. The humidity level starting to creep up a little bit. Low temperatures this morning, 63 degrees. That's evidence that the moisture is starting to increase because you don't drop below the dew point. So the higher the dew point, the warmer the overnight low temperature. High temperature today, 87 degrees, 7 degrees above average. We're at 71 now. Skies are clear. Winds out of the southwest at 3 miles per hour. Humidity starting to creep up at 67 or 87% with a dew point temperature of 67 degrees. There'll be a little patchy fog by early tomorrow morning. High temperatures today in the upper 80s to lower 90s over northern Wisconsin, generally mid to upper 80s here in the southern part of the state. That's because we had a little more humidity here where the air is a little bit drier, can warm up a little bit more. Current temperatures are mainly in the 70s across Wisconsin. Here in Madison, 71 as I mentioned, but La Crosse still at 75 degrees. Even Superior is at 74. Very quiet weather here. The jet stream now becoming a little more southwest and northeast oriented, and that will start to take some of this moisture and head it toward Wisconsin while this cold front drops southeastward. Now the cold front doesn't have the strong push of winds behind it because the winds are parallel to the front, so it'll take a while for that front to get here. And most of the shower and thunderstorm activity is behind the front edge of the cold front, which is still moving through northern Minnesota. So that will slow down a little bit, but reach us sometime during the day on Wednesday. Behind the front, those temperatures drop off by about 5 to 10 degrees, but during the daytime, the sunshine will actually start to warm things up. So we're not going to see much of a big temperature contrast behind that front once the sunshine comes back on Thursday. 24-hour temperature change, Bismarck, North Dakota, 24 degrees cooler than they were at this time yesterday. They had triple-digit heat yesterday. Today, a little more tolerable in the middle 80s for high temperatures. Dew point temperatures, 60s to the lower 70s. You can see that surge of moisture starting to head northward, and eventually it'll interact with that cold front as it pushes in from the north and west. Look for an overnight low temperature of 66 with mostly clear skies overnight, a little patchy fog toward early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's high temperature 87 degrees with just an outside chance of a shower or thunderstorm. On future track, things very quiet for tonight. Southerly winds, low temperatures in the middle 60s, high temperatures tomorrow, upper 80s, just an outside chance of a shower or thunderstorm tomorrow, and even for tomorrow night, just a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm, lows in the mid 60s. And then on Wednesday, you can see as that moisture surge starts to come in, and the cold front switches the winds around to the northwest, those high temperatures topping out around the 80-degree mark, again with some showers and thunderstorms. 7 to 10-day forecast, those temperatures remain in the lower 80s for the rest of the week and into the weekend, and even into the following week. I think very little change in temperatures until maybe a little warm up toward the end of the week. Shower and thunderstorm chances will be highest Wednesday, perhaps Thursday, and then from Sunday afternoon into Monday of next week.
I like the warm weather. You know, it's August, and
It's August, yeah.
I'm not ready for winter yet.
No, I've had people complaining already. There are people who are going to complain about everything. It's part of the job.
That's the job, Gary. All right, the Packers play Thursday night. Aaron Rodgers, he hopes to be a part of things on Thursday. We'll hear from number 12 just ahead in sports.
The Madison Mallards had a single-season record, winning their 49th game yesterday. Today, though, everything resets. It's the playoffs. Tonight, a win-or-go-home scenario as the Mallards host the Fond du Lac Dock Spiders in the first round of the South Division playoffs. But it doesn't take long for the old Dock Spiders to take the lead. Top of the first, Andrew Bullock lines a single to left. Alex Henwood scores 4 unearned runs for Fond du Lac, gives them a 4-0 lead after just 2 innings. Then in the 3rd inning, it gets even worse for the home team. Alex Arrow goes deep. That's a 3-run homer. Fond du Lac goes up 7-0 before the Mallards put on a bit of a mini rally, but it's not looking good for the home team tonight. 8th inning, Dock Spiders 15, Mallards 5. Now, barring a miracle comeback, the Mallards season would come to an end with a loss. The winner of this game faces the Kalamazoo Growlers in another win-or-go-home game tomorrow night. Then the winner of tomorrow's game gets to the best-of-3 Northwoods League Championship Series against the winner of the Northern Division playoffs. Usually we can't give you a very good reason to watch NFL preseason football, but Thursday night when the Packers played the Pittsburgh Steelers at Lambeau Field, well, there's a reason to watch, we think. Today, Aaron Rodgers says he wants to take a few snaps in the game. Last Thursday against the Titans, Rodgers didn't even suit up. In the last few years, he's only played in the 3rd preseason game, and that's it before the regular season begins. But Rodgers has a good reason to want to play Thursday if Mike McCarthy will let him.
I'd like to in front of our fans, and you know, being that we got the first 2 at home, and it'd be nice to get out there back on Lambeau. Obviously, when I came bak from my injury, I was on the road, so I haven't played at home for a long time. I'm trying to think of the last game we played here. Was it Cincinnati, maybe? So it'd be nice to get back on Lambeau. It's not a ton of preparation in the same way that it would be for a regular season game, but I think there's still things to be gained, even as a veteran player in the preseason.
The Badger volleyball team is a little over a week away from its season opener Friday, August 24th, when they face North Carolina at Target Center in Minneapolis. For the 5th straight year, Badger volleyball ranked in the top 10 in the country. They're 9th in the coach's preseason poll. They're pretty young with only 1 senior, but that 1 senior, Tiana Williams, is ready to lead.
First of all, who let me be a senior? They allowed that? No. It was just really weird because starting out, I had 6 in my class. So now it's down to me. It's a little weird. We changed the culture around a lot, and we expect all of our players, incoming and returners, to uphold the culture that we have.
Brewers have the day off. They'll start a 2-game series against the Cubs at Wrigley Field tomorrow afternoon. The Brewers recalled outfielder Keon Broxton and sent pitchers Jacob Barnes and Aaron Wilkerson back to AAA. And Friday night, the 12th season of the Prep Mania Football Game of the Week premieres when Sun Prairie visits Madison Memorial at Mansfield Stadium. Former Edgewood head coach Alan Minner joins Bill Brophy and me for the game Friday night at 7 on TVW and channel3000.com. And we hope you'll join us. And we'll be right back.
And we bring Gary back. One final check of the forecast.
Temperatures are still pretty mild out there, generally in the lower to middle 70s. Dew point temperatures, though, in the upper 60s to the lower 70s. So the heat index isn't much of a problem. The chances for fog are, and we could see a little patchy fog overnight. Otherwise, upper 80s for highs tomorrow. Showers and thunderstorms Wednesday, cooling us to the mid 80s or low 80s, and then low 80s for much of the rest of the time after that.
All right, Gary, thanks. Thanks for joining us at 10. Have a great night.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.